We'll eat light. That's the fashion now.
I know this place. He used to come here with Mei Ling.
Does that bother you?
No, not really. I mean, it's just part of the whole thing I'm trying to understand. I went to go see him last year. You know, I drove to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so I was so happy to go see him, and I didn't even really know him. I mean, I still don't. And I guess I don't know myself either. It's so confusing.
I can understand that. You're not eating anything.
I'm not very hungry, sorry.
No need to be sorry. I'm a fat man, Barbara. The reason people like me are fat is because we love to eat. So I'll eat and you talk.
I have questions. Does it annoy you when people ask you questions?
Not if a lawyer knows his stock and trade. Ask me what you want.
Okay, so why was he a fisherman down there in San Pedro? He was a rich man.
He wants to be a fisherman. He doesn't want to be a rich man. Anyways, I'm sure you know why.
Yeah, no, my mother doesn't tell me anything.
Do you know about Mei Ling, the Chinese lady?
Yeah, I know she was his mistress for many years.
No, that's not the correct word. Your father wanted a divorce, but your mother refused it. Over a period of 20 years, your father built a massive empire. When your grandfather died, he left controlling stock of the Seldom Bank in a trust for you and your brother. Your father had a partner named Mark Levy. The Levys owned a chandelier business down by the docks. Okay? So, Danny's father died in the earthquake. Danny had Joe Levette's fishing boat. Danny was a smart kid, young, but he owned 3 fishing boats and mortgaged them to the hilt. Then he met your mother, fell in love with her, and nothing was going to stop him from having her in Nob Hill too. He mortgaged his business so they could purchase their first ship.
Do you know I never met Mark Levy? All those years, never met him.
Well, your mother never liked him. He was a nice feller, but she never really took kind to him. He's dead now, died back in 1930. His son owns a winery up in Napa Valley. Mark and Danny stayed together until the end. They were like brothers. Way back in 1910, they hired a Chinese man by the name of Feng Wo to be their bookkeeper. Now, back in those days, nobody hired Chinese to do anything except to be a fancy houseboy. But Feng Wo was sharp as a whip, and they wouldn't have been able to do with their business had it not been for him. Mei Ling is his daughter.
Okay, what happened?
During the crash of 1929, Mark and Danny were overextended, and their empire began to crumble. They were into this Seldom Bank for about $16 million and couldn't make the interest payments. Your mother called in a loan, and that was the end of it.
Wait, my mother did that?
Well, she had no choice. It's not as simple as it appears. And in a matter of speaking, your father traded his edge for the divorce. There was community property in this state, and Danny could have come out of it with $500,000 in personal property, real estate, and such. But he didn't want any of it, so he signed over a release turning everything over to your mother. No one forced his hand. There's no villains here, not your mother and not Whittier.
Yet you just told me that my mother destroyed my father.
No one destroyed your father. I thought you knew better. You saw your father last year. Did he look destroyed?
No.
Well, that's it then. Danny did what he did. Not your mother and not Whittier.
Okay, but he was a rich man. I know a little bit about community property. You know, whatever happened to his company, he could have remained a rich man. Why would he give it all to my mother?
I don't know. Would you like some dessert? You haven't eaten anything. Come on, have a piece of cheesecake.
All right.
So, what do you like to do? Run around? Drink a lot?
I work at a soup kitchen. I took today off. Most days I'm too tired to do much running around, but yeah, I've been there 2 weeks since my mother left.
You work where?
MWIU Soup Kitchen, Bryant Street.
MWIU?
The Marine workers, yes.
Gosh almighty. You mean Harry Bridges' outfit?
Yes.
Does your mother know? Sooner or later, she's going to know. And sooner or later, some wiseacre reporter is going to come up to you, hunt you down, and put all your information out on the Examiner. And it'll certainly be a field day then. Gosh almighty, what is wrong with you, child? That is not a lark. They are playing a brutal, dangerous game down there in the dock.
I'm only working at the soup kitchen. I'm not a communist, and they don't know who I am. I call myself Bobby Winter. And it's easier if I keep my first name the same. And that's what they called me at school, Bobby Winter, because I love the cold winters there. So they won't find out who I am.
Maybe not for the next 10 minutes. What do they pay you?
Nothing. They don't pay me anything. I help cook the food and I serve it. I have an allowance of $40 a week, Mr. Goldberg.
Call me Sam.
All right, Sam, do you realize that my allowance is more than twice as much as most longshoremen make in 1 week?
It's also as 5 times as much as the average that they pay in India, maybe a tenth. What does that prove?
I'm not trying to prove anything. I don't need the money. I spend most of it for food for the kitchen.
Do they know that?
No, I'm not stupid. I know what I'm doing. I tell them it's contributions. So I help cook the food, I peel the potatoes, clean the vegetables, I help with the serving, and sometimes I wash dishes.
And you like that? You enjoy that?
Yes, I do.
You have a boyfriend, honey?
No, not really. There was a nice boy who used to come down from Yale on the weekends. His name was, like, Bert Kingman. He lived in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And that seems like 1,000 years ago. But there are other boys here, I guess, and I haven't seen them since I've come back. Why?
Why? Why indeed. You're a nice girl. Don't get into any trouble. You can change nothing. Remember that. And remember, at the way you're going, you just may need a lawyer later. I'm not a bad lawyer.
And cut. And there we go. Now we